Greetings, beautiful, precious spirit soul that you are. We all have names, labels, definitions, but none of those are who we are. Just like when you look in the mirror and you see the image, or a mirror image of the body, that doesn't give you the depth of everything that's in the body. It gives you just some pixels, you might say, on a mirror. See, my topic: protect your consciousness. And I like the Vedic definition in the I believe it's a Purana. It is a Purana of this our nature as a spirit soul. It's called Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. That means eternity, consciousness, bliss, and we have a form. And the form of the soul takes is, in a sense, a feeling body. So our body is also, you might call it an emotional body, but it's not an emotional body. It's a feeling, sensing body, knowing body, you see. And when you protect your consciousness then has two parts, basically. What you know, and what that, a lot of the knowing, and I'm not talking about inner knowing. There is that knowing, but there's also what you believe, or the concepts that you have been taught to, all of us have been taught to accept as true, when they're really concepts. And they're used, and they matter because they make matter. It operates this way because we generate electricity and magnetism, okay? So it's part of who we are. It's just, that's the way the source is. So when you protect your consciousness, that means what you know, you have to make sure it's truth. Or is it just a bunch of concepts and beliefs that have been taught, and that we've been, just like in school, instead of teaching people, not even teaching, helping people to realize the powers within them and how to discern truth from false and how to recognize and realize what's true and what's happening and that sort of thing, then they are given information that they have to read and then memorize, and then a test that says what's true and what's false. So it says then that thing, even though it was a construct and made up, is true, so therefore everything else is false. And then that person who gets the best grades at memorizing, those people we can raise up the ladder, because they're going to be people who are good order followers, and they could be good bureaucrats too, because they know how to do that sort of thing. And those people who are those inner free spirits, we don't want to deal with those people at all. Yeah, right. Hey, but that's who you are. You want to protect your consciousness. So you want to protect, in a sense, how do you do that? Is be really conscious about what you have accepted. And really take that, just look, what did you get from the family? Not making anybody right or wrong. I'm not talking about that. But just notice these patterns, these habits, these overlays, these caricatures, these words and thoughts that we use to define ourselves. Because when someone says who you are, you can't explain that. It's a being. So what do you say? Well, this is me, and I live here, and I have this, and I do this, and I got this, and I'm with up, and I've been there, and I accomplished this. So that's just a bunch of story. But story, if you're the storyteller, isn't you see. So to protect your consciousness, you got to make sure you're getting the highest knowledge in the sense of who you are and your own powers and abilities and nature and your eternal nature and what you're going to do when you drop this concept. Absolutely. Of this 3D and this reality and everything, to really do this now. And the other part of consciousness is what you do, your action. And so if we have faulty information, we're going to have faulty actions that are not going to bring us the joy and the love and the good that we really are seeking, because that comes from us. And when we're always taught that out there, when you keep getting it out there, then you're going to have what's in here. It doesn't work that way. You be here and you live your, express your existence from there, you see. So your choices always resonate with who you really are. And that may be scary for us. And also, we're not, I would just think about myself, because that's what I'm using here. just like being a vegetarian. The very first, it was really for my health, because I had a stroke in the body. And I didn't want to have, that was to me a wake-up call. And then so I became a vegetarian and everything. And then after a while, I developed what it really was compassion as well. Because when I lived in India, and my teacher there, and we took care of cows and such, and how beautiful they are, and the mothers, I took care of the mothers, and I was there for 2 mothers when their very last breath, and I was there to give that mama cow her last water to drink, and to really feel the love that really is there within us, and part that we are part of, and that animals are part of, and the caring and the feeling and all of who we are. And to protect your consciousness then is you have to protect yourself from people who don't know, who want you, who will argue with you or try and take you down or whatever, because they live their concepts in the mind, and they don't know truth about who they really are and haven't worked at that. So one of the things you have to do is you have, some compassion for people, but you understand where they are, so you don't let their stuff take you down, and you stay strong in yourself. That's one of the ways in protecting your consciousness, is to keep silent and keep to yourself about really what's really important, and not be telling a bunch of people what you're going to do. Because when people are telling people, I'm going to do this for you, and I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do this, and you see they don't do it, is because they're just looking for those dopamine hits of everybody likes me and I feel good for the moment, and I go back to my miserable existence. That's why people are addicted to these electronics and stuff, because it looks like something's going on, and there's really nothing going on but a bunch of pixels, even when you're watching this. So we want, not that we're going to go off immediately, but whatever we've got that's destroying our true joy of being and health and vitality and keeping us from knowing who we are, is that we're working at it, you see. And some stuff is gradual. And sometimes you fall off the path and get back on again. But the key is you want to immerse yourself in relationships with people who are empowering and nurturing and conscious and really spiritually motivated for the good of all. And in your own actions and what you do and how you live and how you talk. See, this is where it's at. And when you protect your consciousness, you are empowering yourself and staying strong in yourself. And this is what's really, really important now. And not let anybody or anybody else knock you off. And remember years ago, I wanted to have a television ministry, but I didn't tell people. I kept it to myself, because what I'm going to have people say, well, who do you think you are? And how can you going to do that? And I remember you when, and you were this way and that way, and what gives you the right? It's all these kind of things. And then, oh, well, you don't act like my concept of what a minister should be like, and you don't act like my concept of what you need to be. So we're a bunch of conceptual concept people. That's interesting. When I was in India, and my friend there got basically possessed by So anyway, I was watching as this entity had taken over this person's body, and the entity looked around, a ghost, whatever it was, and said, "It's all concepts." You bet it is. It's all concepts. So conceptualize, you see. Conceptual eyes, you see. So protect your consciousness. Invest in your consciousness, whether it's the seminar, it's the retreat, it's the book, it's the class, it's the counseling session, it's the people that you're working with, it's your spiritual center, it's whatever you're doing to really realize this is the most important, greatest work in the world, is your own self-realization. Therefore, and then you are working for the welfare of all, and you are in your divine state who you are now.